I can't believe it's the final session. This blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. I can't believe. Hold on. I can't believe that we are on the final session because this week has flown by, like absolutely flown by, but we're here and I'm so glad you all are here. We have people from all over the place, Bee. There's people from SoCal, from Nevada, from Washington and Minnesota and Tennessee and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Nova Scotia and British Columbia and Kansas and Florida and North Carolina. There are people from all over the place here today, and I am so excited for them to get to know you and your beautiful art. You're still muted here. Here, let me see. You want it on your phone or the screen? Nope. You must have a volume on your phone or something. So a volume on something needs to be turned down in order for us to unmute you. But I'll just keep talking about you while you figure that part out. If you guys don't know, she has the book Creative Woodburning. It is gorgeous and phenomenal. Her artwork, as you can see, it's dark and it's very intuitive, and her work is stunning. This book is so informative. I absolutely love it. It is one that I am so happy to have sitting on my shelf. So we will make sure to link to this. You can also check out her website, which we will pin to the top of the chat. And that has everything in there. She has several courses. One that is called Craft Your Biz, that's new, that she just came out with. And then another one that's called the Woodburning Master Course. And I have been inside that one and it is good, you guys. It is so, so good. So, and if you stick around, we will have a code for you guys for 20% off of her course, the Woodburning Master Course, at the end, as well as have a giveaway of a signed copy of her book if you're in the United States. But we will also have another giveaway for people who aren't in the United States, because we want everybody to be able to win something today. So just stick around for that too. But we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. So I'm so glad you're here. And we figured out the microphone. It's working just fine. Now we just have to hope that the screen and everything else does what it's supposed to do, because Zoom and YouTube and all of that have been doing some funny things, but we've been making it work. We've been having fun. Yes. Well, I'm going to pass it off to you. I absolutely adore you. I adore your work, and I am so excited for people to get to spend this time with you making such a beautiful piece of art. So take it away, my dear. I will be here for all of the questions. I will be relaying everything to you. And then I also just want to remind everybody that a great way to support Woodburn Corner, the Woodburn sessions, are these artists who are coming in and teaching these classes, and just our ability to be able to put on events like this in the future is by purchasing those recordings. And today, during this class, is the last time you can get it at this price. After the class, the price is jumping up to $100. It's $80 right now. It includes all of the sessions that we've had this week, as well as a list of links of all of the things that we've talked about, all of their materials and their sourcing and their supplies, and even some of the steps and things that they talked about during the sessions. So that's all going to be available if you purchase the recordings. That link is just right above the chat. It's a little black button. You can click that and you can get it at the price that it's at right now. But as soon as the session is over, that price is jumping. So get it while you can. It will open a new window, so you don't have to worry about losing us. But that's just a great way to support us. So I am going to just let you have it. Dive right in. We will be linking to all of your things, and I can't wait to hear more about these courses and the Craft Your Biz and all of that stuff. So I'll be asking you questions about it because I want you to talk about those things. But take it away, my dear.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. Well, hello, everyone. It's amazing to hear that there's so many of you who are viewing this from all over the world. Thank you so much for taking your time to be here and learn about pyrography from me. My name is Bee. I'm the author of Creative Woodburning. And probably if you're in this class, you might already know that. But if you don't, pyrography is my absolute passion, and it is my life path, and I just love it. And yeah, I love teaching it. I love doing it. This is how I make my living full time. So today we will be wood burning this nature mandala. And so in order to do that, I need to switch over from being able to speak with you face to face, and you're going to just be seeing my hands on this other screen. So let me go ahead and mute my face screen, and then we will get going with this nature mandala.
I'm so excited for this. I hope you guys have already transferred it. If you haven't, whoop. I think
That's
maybe
my bad. Just a sec.
Just keep the audio where it was. Just keep the audio in the same place, and I think we won't have a problem because it was working.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's good.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we're good. We're good. I don't know that you can hear me though. So if you can, I would say switch it back. Anyways, guys, there's always fun technical stuff that we have to deal with, when inputting these things on. It's always so fun and enjoyable to try and figure it out while you're live. Like, doesn't matter how much we practice it, it always kind of does these sorts of things. So we'll sort it out though. How are we doing? We good?
We're good. As long as you can hear me and see me, I can hear you. So
perfect. And I'm just going to turn off your other video so that everybody can see your hands nice and close. All right.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right. So here is my basswood round, and I have prepared this for class by transferring my template directly onto here. So I did ask the class participants to try and come with this already transferred, just because it's a pretty complex design and it can take a few minutes. But if you have not yet done that, now is your moment to quickly try and transfer as much of it as you can before we get started with the burning process. Today, I'm going to be using this razor tip SE machine. And this is a great option as far as professional quality, yet still pretty affordable unit that you can get for wood burning. And recently I got this, and I was one of the artists who collaborated on this awesome guide to burning that the razor tip SE kit comes with now. So anyways, I'm excited about that. So that's what unit I will be using today. And as far as the tip shapes that I recommend and that I mainly am going to be using, and if anyone wants me to demo different shapes, we can totally do that. But for this particular design, I am going to start with this curved knife tip. Can you guys see? So this is a curved skew. It's very sharp. So if you have this tip or something that looks very similar to it, let's start with that shape. And the other two that I have on hand are a spoon shader, so a curved and rounded shading tip, and also a writing tip that's got a small to medium end on it, and that will be good for making curved lines. Okay. And then I also have to my right here my tip scraper and my brass brush, because I'm in the clean nibs club. And I definitely like to keep those carbon bits cleaned off of my tools as I go. So you'll see I will just continuously be scraping my tips, and I just do it. I don't even know I'm doing it. It's just so routine at this point.
Team clean nib.
Woohoo! Oh yeah.
Another one. I love to see it.
Yes. All right. So I'm speaking, and I know there's a bunch of you on the other receiving end, but I can't see you or hear you. So I'm just going to trust that you're there and you're ready to start burning.
We are all here and all excited. I am going to ask you what you used to transfer the design, as far as the brand of graphite paper. And if you have any tips or tricks about that before you get started burning, and then also the type of wood you're burning on today.
Wonderful. The type of wood here is basswood. This is just your general basswood slice that you're going to get at a hobby store. Nothing fancy about it. Pretty standard, very accessible for everyone. So basswood, it's easy to find in North America, especially the United States. I know other places people have a little bit of a hard time. But yeah, basswood is what I recommend if you can find it. And then I used some translucent tracing paper, and I am not sure of the brand, but I do have some translucent paper linked on my website. If you go to the tools and materials tab, I have a bunch of recommendations there, and it is likely the same brand or something very similar.
We will grab that link for you guys. Just give us a minute. We'll get you the translucent paper. And also people want to see the tip scraper up close.
Okay.
And then also they want you to zoom in a little bit more if you can.
I will try. Okay. Here is the tip scraper. This is from Razor Tip. And it's got this sharp kind of, it's almost like a knife sharpener. It's got like a deep V, and you can just scrape your tip so easily in there. You can go like this, you know. But anyway, it scrapes the built up carbon off of your tool, and you can scrape it while it's hot. You don't need to turn your tool off or let it cool down or anything like that. And these are just great. I totally recommend those. And the brass brush does the same thing, but I like the brass brush more for like writing tips, or a ball tip, anything that's rounded, that this flat sharp thing isn't going to get to all the surfaces. Then a brass brush will get in all those nooks and crannies better. So
awesome. Thank you. And then people have a question about if you sanded your wood first before you transferred the design.
I did not, but I checked to see how smooth it was before deciding whether I wanted to do that. If it was any rougher than it is, then I would have sanded it. So yeah, I definitely recommend starting with a smooth surface. This one came pretty smooth, and just knowing that it's basswood, and I've burned on basswood a million times, like it's just so easy to burn on, even if there's like tiny little bumps or whatever, like you're just going to glide right over it. That is not true of every wood, but for basswood, yes. So I just wasn't worried about making it glass smooth, but it is quite smooth already without me needing to do anything extra to it. As far as zooming in, I'm not sure how to do that, but I can lift up. Is this going to be a little bit better for you?
That's definitely better. I'm wondering, so on your phone, maybe if you can just touch the screen with 2 fingers and spread them out, if that would help zoom it in a little more. If that's possible. Or you might be able to tap it and then hit like 2x or something like that. If not, then we will make do with this. And then if we need to see it closer, I'll just let you know, and you can just hold it up to the screen a little closer.
Yep, I'm not seeing any.
That's okay. Let's just
okay.
This is closer, and then if they need it closer than this, I'll just ask for a closer view.
Okay, I can always lift it up and show you you know, the way that my tool is touching the wood or whatever, for different techniques if anyone's confused. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to be starting out at a level 6 heat on my Razor Tip SE. I know that all the different machines have different heat settings, but I definitely want to get a very crisp, bold line. That's just what I personally prefer. And we're going to start burning this mandala by burning some of those straighter lines and getting some structure in, and then we'll work our way to the more detailed and shaded bits. So let's go ahead. And does everybody else rotate as they go?
Oh,
That's
yes.
always
I mean, that is
such a-
like such a helpful tip to just make sure that you always are pulling in that same way, especially with something like a mandala or like a radial symmetry design, because then you can just do that line and then you repeat, do that line, repeat, do that line, repeat. And so you just get such a clean look about it. So yes, love the rotation.
absolutely. Yes, you get, you can hold your tool and pull it towards you. You have more control that way. And then, you get more uniformity in your burning when you're doing that, because you get that muscle memory a little bit. You can just kind of work on that. So for these curvy straight lines, and you can see I've got some overburn. See that yellow glow on there, because like there was a little bit of heat built up and whatnot. I'm personally not going to be picky about that on this burn, this mandala, because I'm going to be doing lots of shading. And like these leafy structures, I know that I'm going to be shading outwards. So like that's just going to blend in with stuff. But if you're worried about that, all you need to do is turn your heat down a little bit and, burn a little bit slower. But some of us are in that camp where we just want to burn as quickly as possible and hurry up.
And which nib are you using again? Is this the skew?
This is the skew. I also refer to them as knife tips. And this is a curved one. So yeah, it's got that nice curve. And I love using these for curvy lines, because you can just navigate that curve so easily with it. I will bring this up and show you just how smooth it is. Okay. And this technique is like one of my faves. I shared about this on Instagram earlier this week, but it's like steer the boat. It's like you rotate it as if your tool is like a rudder in the water. Steering a boat is just this very fluid, like rocking back and forth motion that you do as you're pulling your tool in order to guide it on that curve. So you can see how I just rotate my fingers in order to make that curve happen. And yeah.
I love that saying and that visual. It just makes so much sense.
I'm going to move on to these leafy structures and just doing a crisp outline to them. Like I said, we are just working on these crisp lines for structure right now before we go into all of the little details. And if you've got a little snail tail coming over, either you can decide, it's your choice, whether you want the snail to be like tucked behind the leaves, or if you want the snail to be overlapping the leaves, depending on how you burn it. I'm gonna have the snail in front of the leaf, so I'm not burning through that snail tail there. I've got bark going everywhere, but that's okay.
That's our confetti. That's like our, our fairy sprinkles that we sprinkle around as pyro artists, like
That's right.
Our funfetti that we just get all over the place. It's super fun.
And our perma perfume of just like wood smoke everywhere we go, like our aura of campfire that we have.
Totally.
It's good. Wear it like a badge of honor, everyone.
It does. It is good. It's just such a lovely smell. So yeah, I wear it like a badge of honor. I totally agree.
how's this pace? Is everyone feeling good about this? You know, I'm sure there's experienced and more beginners all trying to do this right now.
People are talking about pyro funfetti. Totally. I just asked about how everyone's feeling about the pace and who's burning along tonight, because that's so fun to see who else is going to be making it. And guys, remember, you can share, you can grab a screenshot right now, while she's working, and share to social media. Make sure to tag at BeeSymmetry and at Woodburn Corner and use the hashtag Woodburn Sessions. It's so much fun for Bee, especially, and for like the teachers to be able to come off of teaching and be feeling so good. And so like they just had the best time, but to actually see the people who were participating in it, loving it, and making things, like that is where like we really as teachers get that juicy happy feeling in our chest. So please share about it on social media so that we can see it and so that Bee can see it after this is all done.
Yes, please.
As far as pace goes, people are loving it. It's perfect. It's totally great.
Okay.
There's some people who are like, I didn't transfer it first, so they're trying to catch up with the transferring, but that's okay. That's okay.
Well, if you want to take your time with it and be able to go back over and pause and everything, there's always the option to get the recordings. So everybody knows about that.
Yes.
But okay, I just want to say thank you to everyone who is taking the time out of their life to be here and woodburn with me right now. Like, just the mental image of different strangers in their homes or workspaces, like on the Zoom, burning along, it's amazing. It brings joy to my heart. I love it so much. And as Rachel said, I would love to see anybody else's mandalas once you're done burning them. I had several people tagging me and they're like, I'm getting ready to burn, and like had their piece of basswood or whatever transferred. And I love that. That's so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. And yeah, it's the moment. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. Okay, I'm gonna do these little diamond shapes. So a few years ago, when I was sharing some videos of wood burning, someone commented on one of my videos about my pinky being my kickstand. And I've just always loved that ever since, because I 100% use it as like my stability when I'm burning.
You have to have some way to contact with what it is that you're burning on. Otherwise you're like, a kid when they first learn to write and their hand is like floating in the air and you've got like that caveman grip almost like of the pencil. Like that's how you feel when you're trying to make art if you're not anchored in some way. So I like the kickstand name though. That's cute.
I know. I thought it was super cute too. I'm like, that is exactly correct. And thank you for noticing.
Right. We've got someone said, can't wait for your Craft Your Biz course. Can you talk about that a little?
Yay. Yes, I would love to. So, all right. So a little bit of background though, first is, I am a person who once loved drawing and making art, and I was a new mom and I wanted to sell my things because I needed to figure out how to make an income while staying home with my daughter, who is now 9. She just had a birthday. And I had my pyrography hobby for a while and I was loving it. And anyway, fast forward to now, I have a full-time wood burning based business, and it's the most amazing thing. It's transformed my life in every way to be able to make a living on my art. And my goal with my new course, Craft Your Biz, is to help other people who have a handmade hobby turn that into a business, and figure out how to do it in a logical, sensical, legal, fun and fulfilling way. So I aim to be your mentor on the journey of turning your handmade hobby into a business, so you can support yourself and your family on your art, and realize your dreams and whatnot. all the wonderful cliches that actually can be real, if you know what steps to take and in what order to take them, and get past the overwhelm of that. So that is the goal of Craft Your Biz. We will be starting that course on February 22nd. So right now it's on a pre-sale, meaning if you want to enroll in the course and you think that sounds amazing, I totally want to sell my stuff and I totally don't know what I'm doing, and yeah, I totally want Bee's help with all of that stuff, I would love for you to enroll. It is $97 for the pre-sale price, which does go up when the course starts on February 22nd. So if you want to get a good price, you got to get the pre-sale. And we will be, it's a 12-week course. I'll be releasing one module every Wednesday starting on the 22nd of February for 12 consecutive weeks. And so it's all just going to be bite-sized modules that will lead you through kind of the 4 pillars of your future business that you would like to create. And I'm going to help you figure it all out along the way. And it can also be self-paced. So you don't have to do all of the homework bits on that same schedule, but they are there for you to refer back to anytime along your journey of creating your future art-based business. So
awesome.
That's the thing.
Yeah, and we link to it in the chat, guys, where you can find her 2 courses, Craft Your Biz, and then she also has another one that is called Woodburning Master Course, and I've been inside that one, and it is great. It is great. So be sure to check those out, and maybe we can sneak the code now. I mean, we'll say it at the end too.
Sure.
But if you guys use the code Woodburn Sessions, all one word, Woodburn Sessions,
all caps too.
And the course, the Woodburning Master Course, you get 20% off through the end of this month. So go and get that now. So you don't forget.
The Woodburning Master Course is a very extensive pyrography course. There's like 35 or 37 video tutorials, exercises on how to use all different tool shapes and different techniques. So it's very comprehensive. If you're looking for something to really hone your skills and take things up a notch, as well as learning how to add vibrant color, how to seal your work, what sealers to use, how to choose your wood. Gosh, there's so much in there. There's more information in my Woodburning Master Course than in my book. So, and you get videos.
You get the whole kit and caboodle. Okay, we've got some great questions that have come through.
Okay.
What do you use for safety?
Typically I've got my little mask here. I use one of these masks with the carbon filter in it on my face typically. as well as a desktop wood burning buddy, which I don't have to show you here, but if you go to beesymmetry.com/tools, I have a wood burning buddy linked, and the Razor Mini I also use, which is, they're both smoke extractors, desktop smoke extractors. So they basically like suck the smoke right in and filter it through a carbon filter. And so that really cuts down on the ambient smoke in the room. And then in the summertime, because I live in a beautiful place, I'm able to open the windows and doors to my studio, and I just like let all that fresh air in. So in the winter, it's more of a concern when it's cold and I can't open the windows. Then I definitely use the smoke extractor and a face mask.
Awesome. And we are linking to the mask that you're using and the smoke extractor, the burning buddy, and all that stuff. So just check the links, guys, in the chat. But we will also have all of these links on a list as part of the recording. So when you purchase the recordings, you will also have access to all of these links for forever and ever, as long as Woodburn Corner is a thing. So we have another great question. Well, just one quick question about your Craft Your Biz. Is it a specific time that the classes are, or is it like a work at your own pace, and the pace is what you said, 12 weeks, correct? The 12 weeks.
So each Wednesday I will be uploading that week's module, and you can view it and interact with it at your convenience, whether that is that same day or that week at a different time when you're available, or in 3 months when you feel more ready. It is up to you. There'll be pre-recorded videos and lectures and helpful links and charts and checklists and so many things. But yeah, you can view it. You can go along with the pace of the course. I think some people plan to do that, and other people, they're just in there to kind of, check it out, see what kind of information I'm sharing, see how it applies to them, see what they can do, maybe get motivated or whatever. So however you want to do it, it's your future, it's your biz. So I'm now just going around and looking for any like straight lines that I can put in places, because I'm going to be switching this tip out shortly.
Okay, we have a couple more questions about the course, and then also about this design that we're working on tonight.
Wonderful.
Will there be an opportunity to ask questions while you're doing the course? And then
Yes.
for the design, people want to know how you created it. Was it freehand? Did you use some sort of technology? How did you make the design itself?
Yeah. Hey guys, I anticipated that question. So what I did was I recorded myself creating the template, the entire process of creating the template, and then I made a free video of it that you can go watch. In the Creative Woodburning School, there is a free mini course that's called Creating a Nature Mandala Template, and you can watch. It's like a 15-minute video because I edited and condensed, but you can see the entire process, my thought process. No, I didn't know exactly what I was creating when I first started it. I knew I wanted to do a mandala, and then I just kind of made it up as I went along. But yeah, totally go watch that video. It's free. It's there for you. And I thought that would be fun for any of the participants here who are burning this to just see that process. What was the other question? It was
about whether people can ask questions during.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes. Yes. People asking questions is actually a very instrumental part of the pre-sale portion of the course, because if you enroll and go along on this journey, before each module is published, I have the outline of the course visible to the enrollees, and you can see all the different topics that we're going to be covering. And I have a space there for you to ask any questions you have about any of those topics, so that I can make sure that once I publish on that particular topic, your question will be answered. And then I will also each week have spaces. There's an area where you can comment on a lecture or a slide or a video. And so if you have any further questions, and I'm also toying around with the idea of doing some sort of a live, like going live with, some questions or something. I don't know if that would be on Instagram or whatever, but we can figure it out. But yes, any student who enrolls in Craft Your Biz, I plan to be very interactive with each person. So that's definitely part of it.
Awesome. It all sounds so good. People are asking lots of questions about it being like, once they have access, they always have access to it, correct?
Lifetime access.
Yeah.
Lifetime access. And yeah, like for $97, and at the risk of sounding like super saleswoman-y or whatever, like,
Girl,
I need to be compensated like for my time and stuff, but it is like when I reflect back upon my journey and how many years it took me to figure all this stuff out, you guys, and like how many decisions would have been so much easier, and how much stress I would not have had to experience had I had someone showing me all this stuff. It is invaluable. So I'll just say that, and if anyone is interested in the course, you can go to the Creative Woodburning School and see the entire sales page for Craft Your Biz. I talk all about what it is that you're getting and what it's all about in there. So probably a lot of your FAQs will be answered there. So you can explore that too. So I'm going to switch out my tool here because I'm wanting to get into some of the more curvy lines and be done with some of the straight stuff for a little bit. So I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to switch out for my writing tip. So if you have a writing tip, that is great. If you don't have a writing tip that looks exactly the same as the one that I have here, just get something that is rounded, and the smaller the better. So whatever you have that is a rounded tip, let's go for that. I'm going to keep it on this same heat setting for now and see what happens. But what I want to do, this is actually too hot. I'm turning it down. Maybe 4.5. This Razor Tip SE is brand new. I just got this. This is the newly released one that has like the gray cord and the guide to burning that I showed you. But anyway, wow, it's amazing when you get a brand new unit and it's like, ooh, it heats up real good. If some of you have older pyrography units, they do lose their heat capability. Well, maybe more for those of us who are like burning for hours a day. But
so for people who are maybe dirty nib people, can you explain when you choose to reach over and just dust off and clean it? Like what you're seeing or why you do it when you do it?
Yep. for sure. So any time that I feel any sort of crunchy resistance underneath, like between the wooden surface and my heated tool, and if you're burning on a little bit higher of a heat, you'll get more carbon flakes happening. That's just the nature of wood burning, that when your heated tool is touching the surface, it's creating carbon. That's what all this dark, beautiful wood burning is. And some of that carbon does not stay adhered to the wood. Some of it flakes off and, goes every which way. And some of it stays on your tool. And so you will feel that. And it's, at this point, it's just so automatic. I don't even really realize I'm doing it. But it's just when you feel that your tool is not gliding as smoothly as it should, and there's a little bit of resistance, or you're noticing black flakes of carbon come off, or you notice that the heat isn't transferring as evenly, because it feels like there's something in the way of the heat. It's because there is something in the way, and that is carbon. So every so often, I just go ahead and brush my tool on here, and that takes care of that problem, and helps everything just be smoother. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, it does. And I love when other people explain how great cleaning your nib is, so that I don't have to always be the one being like, clean your nibs, people.
Yeah.
Because I'm convinced that all dirty nib people are just clean nib people that haven't been converted yet because they haven't tried it out. Whereas like you cannot get a clean nib person to go back to being a dirty nib person. You know what I mean? And I think that's,
I just don't understand, if you're a dirty nib person, like, what does your wood burning look like? Like, are you getting good results?
Oh, there are people that get insane results, and I look at it and I'm like, how? And like, also, this would be so much easier if you didn't have a dirty nib. But I mean, Basha, who's listening right now, she's team dirty nib, and it drives me nuts. So, but I also think it depends on the nib that you're using, right? Like the cutting nibs, the knife nibs, like it's that, which is what she uses mostly. It doesn't get as dirty as like a ball nib or like a writing nib, and something that has
or
a little
shading.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway,
the more surface area, and the more you are like trying to distribute the heat evenly, like with a shading tool, where you've got like a lot of surface area in contact at once, that is where you're really going to want to keep it clean. But like the temperature that you're burning also plays into that. So I can see if you always like burn really slowly and just do like really light shading and just build up your layers, and you're just one of those people who's like never in a rush with it, and you're just meditating, you just got your Zen, pyro practice or whatever, like I can totally see how you might not need to clean your nibs very much, because you're not actually like depositing enough heat at once in order to like get that carbon lift right then. But I will always clean my nibs. I favor a more dark and bold look with my work, and so I'm always burning on high temperatures. Not always, but a lot of the time.
Someone asked if you'd ever use the sharpening. It's not really a sharpening tool per se, the cleaning tool of the razor tip. Would you use it with your writing nib?
I can. It's just I do, yeah, but look, if this is rounded, so then if I'm scraping, I have to move it all around, and then I have to scrape it in all these different directions in order to like scrape all of the surface area. So it's just more work. Otherwise, I just go like this. And then it got it all, you know, because there's all these bristles getting all over it. So yes, you can. There's no reason why you can't. It just is less effective for that like quickie little swipe. So I'm going to take my writing tip and make it perpendicular to the surface of the wood. I don't want it this wide way. I'm not trying to make thick lines right now. I want it perpendicular so I can pull outward from the center and just make these like little tapered lines on these flower petals. Let's see if that's showing up. And I want them to be bolder towards the center and get thinner and lighter as I pull outward. So I always start these lines closer to the center and then pull and get quicker and lighter and sort of pick up as I pull backwards. So that's what we're going for.
Someone asked if the brass brush scratches your nibs.
Nope.
Not that I've found. I think if you're really rough with it, or if you choose a brass brush that's like extremely inflexible, maybe you could do that with something like a shading nib of some sort, something that has like a big flat metal surface, but not with scratches that are going to cause it to like react differently on the wood. Nothing that I've found, at least. I think the brass brush is phenomenal. And this one from Razor Tip is nice and soft. It's really nice and pliable.
Yep, agree. So we've got these kind of like branchy leaves, and because I'm trying to incorporate a bunch of different textures into this wood burning, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna and I don't know if there's even a term for this, but like when you kind of go back and forth and make like a rounded area and then pull your tool this way, this is a great technique to use if you're doing like ferns or other like simple vine designs.
I feel like this is your signature move.
And I do this all the time.
It's a name like the bee maneuver or something like that. Like it needs its own name, because I do feel like it's something that I see a lot in your work, and I feel like that move by itself is something that makes me go, oh yeah, this is bees. Like it's part of your signature style, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
The bee maneuver. I imagine that the audience can come up with a much better name than the bee maneuver. So we'll let them be the smart ones here, and they'll come back with some great ideas, I'm sure, for what we should call this maneuver in general. Oh, bees buds. See, that's cute. That's cute.
Bees buds.
Little buds. They're like little, I don't know. It's cute.
That's great.
The bee line, paisley shapes. See, you just got to give them a little bit and they just run with it and always have the best ideas. The bee line. Ooh, bee line's cute. That's cute. That's been recommended a couple of times, so maybe it needs to be called the bee line.
Well, here we are. We're going to be doing this And this works well. Like if you get into the zone with it, you can crank your heat up a bit and then just kind of or you can just build up your heat. But it's nice to like let that tip sink in to the wood and get that kind of depth to give it that texture. I really like that anyway.
Do you ever use a ball nib?
Oh yeah. I use it mainly for stippling though. And I do a lot of dot work as like ornamental accents on things. And we can use a ball nib on this. We can add some dots in there. But I typically use a ball nib for stippling like pretty exclusively. In my personal work, that is anyway.
And just so that you know, it's called the Bee line now.
All right.
One word or two, up to you. I think one word is adorable, but totally up to you. I think hashtag Beeline is going to be trending soon. So
I feel like that's probably already a thing. Like that's probably already a hashtag.
Well, I mean, you like beeline something, right? Like when you're like,
yeah.
He beelined it to blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah. But like a BEE line, I don't think that's how you spell it. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I've never spelled it beeline before or seen it written. I've only ever heard it said. So
hey, if there's a trending hashtag, I'm not going to complain about it.
I always thought that it was like you're going from like point A to point B, like you're B lining it.
Oh.
So I thought it was just the letter B, but maybe I'm totally off here. I'm sure they'll correct.
I don't know either.
They will know.
Where's our English majors at? Come on.
Right?
Now. How's everybody doing? Are people racing me on the clock? How many petals we got going?
Right. No, you're doing fantastic. It's really fun to watch it just form right before our eyes. I mean, it's just as satisfying like doing it as watching someone else do it. I swear. Like
yeah, totally.
Almost just as good.
Yeah. I'm going to turn my heat up a little bit so I can go a little faster.
Okay, so people agree with me that if you do BEE line, that's totally unique and it's all
right.
yours.
Boom. Thanks, guys. I feel special.
And people are saying that you're burning at a good pace. Someone said they're still waiting for their versatile to heat up.
Oh, seriously?
No. But yes.
That's hilarious.
Someone asked if there was a blemish at the center of the wood, and there was.
There is.
Yes. Maybe
there's a darker spot.
Maybe if you flip it over, they can see it on the backside. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. It's, it's not crazy. Like if I put oil or sealer on it, it would darken more and you'd see that more. But actually think of that I might do some subtle color after this is all burned. And I won't have time to do that on camera for you all today, but I might, figure out a way to share that process with you too, if any of you are wanting to do the entire everything the same.
It's just so fun to watch. I love it. Everybody's loving this. And they're talking about how blemishes add character and it's great. And I was right. It's B, like the letter B line. like when you beeline something. So it is like from point A.
You called it.
I know, it made me very happy to see that. I was like, all right, because a lot of times my brain jumps to a conclusion that isn't necessarily the right one.
Yeah.
So this one, I was actually right. Woohoo.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Okay, so do you want to ask the chat what they would rather we move on to next, either the butterfly or the mushroom?
All right, I asked, we're waiting. Here comes the responses. Butterfly is the first one. And then people are wondering if you will post the finished piece once you're all done with it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 butterflies, 2 mushrooms,
Okay.
1, 2 butterfly, more, another mushroom, another butterfly, a couple more mushrooms. I think you're gonna have to do both, but start with the butterfly.
We will do both. We will. Yeah, I was just curious if people were real excited. You know, there's there's a lot of pyrographers who do a lot of mushroom work, which is fun. We all love mushrooms, right?
I mean, I think it comes with the territory of loving trees, is you also love moss, you also love mushrooms, like you also love ferns. Like I feel like we all kind of carry that same love of nature and the forest and being around trees, and you can't be around trees without having mushrooms too.
That is so true. For better or for worse.
Someone had a question about if you can talk about texture and nibs, like maybe which nibs you use for which kinds of texture.
Yeah, and I specifically made this mandala with all these different elements so that we could experiment with these different textures too. Like on the snail shell, we'll do like a smooth gradient, and we will be using the spoon shader primarily for that. This we've got, you know, that depth and whatnot, and that also has to do with the temperature that we're burning with as well. That's sort of a broad question because so many different effects can be made with so many different tools. It just depends on how you use it, your technique, your temperature. In my wood burning master course, I go over this in detail, like not excruciating detail. You'll enjoy it. It'll help you, but I really break things down to like the absolute basics. And I've got the 5 T's. So it's your tool, the technique, the temperature, and of course, I'm not going to remember all 5 in this moment as I'm trying to talk about this, but it's basically all of the elements that are at play at once when you're wood burning. So there's so many factors, and that's why 2 different artists can take the same template with the same species of wood and the same exact tool and create something different with it. And it's because everyone's using their tool differently. There's different temperature fluctuations. Each natural canvas, while they are quite uniform, if you're getting these craft quality canvases, they were each a tree, and they have their own qualities, and you can have subtle grain pattern differences and things like that. So I guess that's the long answer, and the short answer is it depends. And I hope to show you and demonstrate some different effects and different techniques that you get with different nib shapes. And if you have any more specific questions, I will be happy to answer those. we're going to do this butterfly and then we will do the mushroom. So let's get ready for the butterfly by switching over to our shading tip. And you can either use a spoon shader like I have, or you can use an angled shader like this spear shader tip with the pointy end. So either of those would work. And something that's super handy is to show you the butterfly. Here it is. It's an anise swallowtail that we are making. So take a mental note and I'll guide you through the markings. But these, this particular species is yellow and black. They're so beautiful. We have them in my area.
Can you leave the book right on underneath your left arm? Is that possible so that they can kind of see it in the frame still, but not, yeah, that way they can still kind of see it a little bit to the left. A little more, there you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Totally. I'm going to start at a lower heat here. And I'm going to start with this butterfly, even though it's upside down, because of the angle that this line is. And I want to get a crisp line up here where we've got this dark black. I'm actually going to turn this up slightly for this portion. Now I have my spoon shader tilted up so that the edge, I'm going to get a clean and crisp edge here. And I still want to turn this up a little bit more. Sometimes I see videos of people doing like this incredible wood burn shading that is just like next level, beautiful, so smooth. And I'm like, that is amazing that you have the patience.
I am in the same camp as you. I'm like, that's so beautiful. And I like look up to it that much more because I could never have that level of patience. Just never.
It's like, yeah, I could do that. But I think part of this is like, just being on like the craft show circuit and whatnot. Like I'm always looking for like ways to be more efficient. And that's, you know, it's just like a reality. And, you know, if I'm making like my own personal fine art, I'm not so much this way, but like when I'm just like burning objects or jewelry or whatever, and not everything can be a masterpiece, you know, sometimes you just gotta, you know, be productive and be quick about it. But then, you know, it's wonderful too, to then really sit with the art form and let yourself have those elongated moments where you can really challenge yourself to like see how smooth can I get this shading and how realistic can I make this look and how perfect can this solid black be, and you know, having a balance between not needing to always be a perfectionist in one way or another, but like allowing different aspects of yourself to be revealed through your pyrography practice or your art practice, you know, and approaching it in different ways just for the heck of it. So I encourage everyone to do that.
I love that. We have a request to see it closer. So I don't know if you want to try pulling the camera down closer or just holding it up to you, but just being able to see you burn while it's a little bit closer, I think will be helpful.
Okay.
And then we had another question about leather. People would love to hear you talk about the transfer process and just kind of how you go about working on leather and if you have any tips or tricks.
Yep. Unfortunately, I have not found a transfer method that is removable. I'm sure there is one. There probably is one. And I should really look into that. And I will look into that. But I freehand everything that I do on leather. So that's really my process. And I know that that's
that much more incredible though. Honestly, I love your work. I own one of your necklaces. I'm not wearing it today, but I wore it earlier this week. And I love it. I get compliments on it every time I get out of the house. And I'm like, oh, this is BeeSymmetry. Like, and I just love it. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And your leather work is incredible. Is there a specific type of leather that you look for when you're purchasing?
Yeah, it has to be vegetable tanned leather, guys. If you take anything away from wood burn or leather burning, like vegetable tanned, it needs to be vegetable tanned. Don't get chrome tanned or anything that's been dyed or whatever, because the smoke is horrendous. Like it will make you sick. It will give you emphysema. Don't do it to yourself, please.
And that goes for even working with wood too, guys. Like take safety equipment seriously. Get yourself set up with all the right tools so that you don't have to worry about that. And beyond just like pulling the smoke away from you and, using the fume extractors and those things, I can't recommend enough, like having an air purifier for your whole room that you're burning in, because you don't want the people and the animals live in your house being affected by this, your art form. Like this is meant to be fun and wonderful. We don't want it to be harmful in any way. So just make sure that you've got your safety equipment in place. Something I really wish someone had told me right from the get-go. So get it in place now, guys, wherever you are in your process.
I completely agree and support that statement. I feel like there's not enough of an emphasis on the safety aspects when people are like just learning about wood burning, and they're kind of like, ooh, like this looks super cool. I totally want to try this and stuff. And then like they get a wood burning kit, but they don't really always know or understand that, like, in order to set up, your space, you can't just have your wood burning tool and like nothing else. You need to think about all of these other, safety considerations and protect yourself and protect your home and your airspace and everything. So
there's a lot of conversation happening in the chat about how stinky leather is.
It's super stinky, guys.
It's so bad. It really just smells like cooked flesh, in which it kind of is, and it's pretty gross. Is there something that you do to like help with the smell or alleviate that a little bit more? Like, is there any sort of extra precautions that you put in place when you're working with leather?
I try to never do a long leather burning session because it's so smoky and it's so stinky. So like if I'm prepping for a craft show or something and I want to do like a batch of leather stuff, I'll do it in tiny increments, like little things at a time. And usually I only do leather burning projects when I have like really good ventilation and can open the door and like have a box fan that's like literally blowing the smoke the opposite direction, and all of that. So that's what I recommend. And part of the stinkiness too is if you are not sure that your leather is veg tanned, that chrome tanned leather or that like other chemical that they use to tan leather or any dyed leather is just the fumes, guys, are really, really bad.
Do you have a specific resource for getting your leather from? Like, is there a company that you like to get your leather from?
The last time I ordered, I did a big bulk order from, I think, Ohio Leather Company.
Have you ever used Tandy leather?
I have used Tandy leather, but they are more expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have more like specialty leathers, like different colors and stuff, which I don't use because it's not compatible with wood burning. I'm doing my best here while hovering this in the air for you guys. I hope it's working.
It is. It's great. I can see just
Yay.
fine.
Okay.
We'll find out from them in about 30 seconds if they also think it's great.
Okay.
There's a 30-second delay between what they see and what we see here.
Okay.
So it's always kind of interesting. Well, we have a good question here.
Okay.
When you teach a room full of students burning, how do you manage the smoke, like in a rented room or in a space?
The place where I do in-person classes has garage doors that open up. So box fans and a garage door opening up. So not an enclosed indoor space at all. Otherwise, like open air gazebos that still have electrical work well. That's what I recommend.
Yeah, and you can also bring your air purifiers with you, any tabletop fans. Like there's a lot of different ways that you can kind of work with that aspect of it. Oh, someone had a good question. Can you explain the angles that you're holding the pen at when you're doing the butterfly?
Sure. Okay. Right now I'm working on some of these straight lines. So when I do that, I'm trying to use more of the edge. So I'm tilting it up. See how like nice straight line you can get. And then when I'm working on some shading, I'm making it more parallel to the surface and using that rounded, and just the technique then also is kind of just like a back and forth thing that I'm doing just to kind of rough in that shading, and then I can always perfect around the edges of where I want it. If you see a lot of these kind of like swoop between the lines. So swooping the tool. That's the technical term. We're swooping.
We're swooping. Look at us swoop.
Swoopity doo.
Well, you're swooping the swallowtail. It's a swallowtail, right? Like makes sense that you're swooping.
Yes. Who's ready for spring?
I think
All this Northern Hemisphere people. Is there anyone in the Southern Hemisphere who's on this today? That would be amazing. I know someone messaged me on Instagram and said that they were in Australia and they were going to try and make it. And I was just like, whoa, because I don't know what time it is right now in Australia, but it's definitely not like a normal.
No, definitely
Woodburn
not a normal
class time.
Yes. I had someone who was messaging from Dubai, and they were like waking up super early in the morning, and they messaged me and they're like, I can't see it, like it's not live or something. And it was like the opposite time zones. So like they had PM and AM confused, or no, it was they thought it was Thursday, but it was still only Wednesday where we were, but it was Thursday where they were. And so it's like,
oh wow.
It's like time zones are hard, guys. They are hard.
Even for me, I had to like double and triple and quadruple check that like I was going to be here at the right time, because for me it's 3 hours later than it is for Rachel. So I was like, okay, it's 2 p.m. their time. Is it going to be 4? Is it going to be 5?
I work with Basha all the time. I mean, we literally talk every day, and she's on the East Coast too. And you would think at this point it would be so automatic to be able to like just add 3 hours or subtract 3 hours based on what we're talking about. No, I'm constantly like, okay, 10, 11, 12, 1, like counting on my fingers, double checking it's 3. Like, it's so silly. It's so silly, but it's definitely not easy. Someone said Australia's in a like a day difference from here. Yes, they're like ahead of us by a lot. Oh, there's someone here from New Zealand, and it's noon.
Whoa! Hi.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Wow, I've always wanted to go to New Zealand. That's like a bucket list thing for me.
Me too.
Oh my God.
We have someone here from South Africa.
That is awesome. I have friends who are in Cape Town right now. They got stuck there during the pandemic and just moved there and live there now with their daughter and love it, and their life is awesome.
That's quite the move. You're like, well, we're stuck here, might as well just build a life.
Yeah, they ended up quarantined there in Cape Town for 10 months because they weren't allowed out of the country, and they just became part of a really like vibrant, beautiful community there, and
how amazing.
The rest is history. Yeah, it's cool to watch. But
so we have someone
beautiful country
from someone here from Bulgaria. It's awesome. 1 a.m. where they are.
Wow. Thank you for being here.
That is dedication. That's dedication.
So awesome.
We have someone here from Trinidad. They're 4 hours ahead.
Wow.
Amazing.
The power of the internet.
People in New Zealand. Okay, so it says Australia can be 15 to 17 hours ahead of the West Coast, depending on the differing daylight savings time changes. Yeah, that's a lot. 15 to 17 hours.
Yeah. I'm going to use the very edge again to just do these little antenna. This would be easier if I was using a different tip, honestly. Maybe I should do that for the next butterfly for you guys and show you. The butterfly's legs, you could do with that skew or that knife tip that we started out with. But I'm just gonna use the edge.
Everybody is talking about how beautiful the butterfly is looking. It looks amazing. The shading and the tonal value. It's so beautiful.
Thanks, guys. I can't wait to see your butterflies.
I know. Ooh, this is a great question. When you do gradient shading, do you have a problem with fading over time? How do you deal with it? Do you use sealer, adjust how dark you burn, or do you just embrace it as part of the process?
All of the above. And it is one of those tough things about wood burning.
I know. It's the only bad thing. I'm convinced it's the one and only bad thing about pyrography.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, you really need to be careful about where you display your artwork. Sorry, this is going all over the place. I need to give my arm a break for a second. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep my shading tool on, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna color in these little triangles for some depth back here. Let's work on that while we continue to talk about the effect of UV rays on our wood. So it is a big problem. And that is why I tell people, like, I don't do exterior wood burning stuff, like aside from gourds, which are made to not last forever. I don't do like exterior signage or anything. Like a lot of people inquire about that. Not so much anymore, but over the years, that's been a big one. People being like, oh, can you burn this sign for my driveway or something? And I'm just like, no, sorry, because it's going to fade, you know, like it'll last for a year and then it'll fade. And, you know, there's sealers that you can get that have UV protection, like it, but you need to reapply those pretty much like every 1 to 2 years for the life of your wood burned item, which if you're keeping it yourself and you're committed to resealing it that frequently, maybe that would work, but that's really impractical for most people. And then so what I always tell people is knowledge is the best thing, because the only way to kind of counteract that problem is with prevention, meaning keeping it out of UV light, and also planning ahead with the way that you're wood burning. So like, for example, if I am wood burning something that is going to be like a wall art piece or like a fine art piece, and I'm going to be sealing it. So like a sealer is going to go on top, and the natural color of the wood is going to darken over time. And I want to preserve the wood burning as long as possible, then I will have that information in my mind as I'm wood burning it, and I will try and up that contrast. So that means not having areas where you're doing this like perfect, beautiful, very light, subtle shading, because the second you put a sealer over top of that, it's going to disappear and fade into the background because the base color of your wood is going to darken. And then wood also does darken over time, and sometimes yellows over time, depending on the species of the wood and what you're sealing it with. And so those two things coupled with the effect of UV light is just like the elements are not on your side. So you, yeah, you want to burn things darker and bolder and more high contrast than you think you want it to be eventually. And then when that fading or that darkening happens, then you'll still be happy with your end result.
I love your response here. I love it so much. We have a request to take a little 5-minute break. Does that sound good? I will go ahead and mute you real quick, and then I will share the screen, and we will see you guys in 5 minutes. And I just want to remind everybody that this is a great opportunity to go and purchase those recordings. You can find that link just right above the chat. It says purchase recordings. The price right now during the chat is only $80. It's 20% off right now. That price will bump up to $100 as soon as the sessions is over. So grab them now, but also grab yourself a drink or a snack or run to the loo, whatever you need to do. And then we will see you back here in just 5 minutes. Okay. We are back. I am going to see if we can get you unmuted. And then we are ready to roll.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Back and looking beautiful. Oh, look at that little snail shell. He's looking lovely. So lovely. And while we were on break, we had at least 2 purchases come through. So thank you to those of you listening in and purchasing the recordings. You really are making it so Woodburn Corner can continue to put on events like this. You're also supporting artists like Bee, who are coming out of the kindness of their heart to share this great information with all of us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are awesome. And take it away, Bee. Keep on doing your thing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. During the break, I stayed right here and I worked on this little snail shell because I wanted to come up with how I'm gonna teach this to you. So
And make that 3 purchases. And I think someone also purchased your wood burning masterclass too. So yay!
yay!
Keep on going, guys. It's so awesome to see.
You're gonna love it.
Thank you so much for your support, everybody. It's really incredible. I mean, sharing to social media helps Bee to get her work in front of more eyes. It helps all of us, to be able to keep doing these things because we want the artists that are coming in that are taking time out of their day to share all of this knowledge that they've learned over the years with all of us for free. And, we want to show them that love back in return. So thank you so much for showing her so much love. I'm seeing all the comments and posts on social media too. You guys are awesome. This community is the best. We're so lucky.
I agree. It is truly amazing. It's like, I don't know why, but it's just like all the most awesome, sweet, coolest, most interesting and like supportive people are in the pyrography community. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because we're all nature lovers and we like working with wood, and it just attracts really like grounded, awesome, creative people. But yeah, it's great. Thank you all so much for being here. So I still have my spoon shader going on here, and I've lowered this down so that you can see hopefully really well. Woo. All right.
Someone commented about just thanking you for how you explained fading. It's so tricky and kind of experimental. And, people are saying some of the pieces that they did, 15 years ago can still look good, but then some of the ones that they did only a couple of years ago look worn. And so kind of explaining the different elements involved. And I really liked what you said about prevention. I think that is what's key here is the knowledge part of it all. So I love that. And then there's other people saying that they're going to be buying your biz class tonight. So
that's awesome.
It's awesome to see. You guys seriously rock. Thank you so much for being so supportive of all of the artists that have shown up for these sessions, but also of Woodburn Corner. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's the most amazing thing. Like I recall being like a very young child, and pretty much everyone was like, you could never, like being an artist is not a real job, and like yeah, like get a real job so you can make actual money, and then like just make art as a hobby, and like basically like it's not realistic to be an artist. And I just reject that so wholeheartedly, and it is so validating every time that I get to like spend another year making art. And so and that is because I've got amazing customers and students and colleagues who help make it all happen.
Can you do us a favor and hold up the piece of wood and kind of talk us through how you're doing the shading? Maybe do another
Yep.
snail shell for us and just kind of describe what it is that you're doing and how you're doing it.
Absolutely. That is for sure what we're doing. So let's move on to this fresh snail right here and start from scratch together. So I'm going to take the edge of my tool and lightly, like we're not going for super bold here. We want to get a clean edge, but like lighter. So just as if you were sketching in a sketchbook with like your pencil before you went in with your ink, we are just kind of coloring over our tracing line there and getting that outline going. And in order to create this rounded look, we will be setting the tool down in the darkest area and quickly pulling it to the lightest area while also lifting it up. And we will be doing that from the center point towards this lighter midline, and also from the outer edge toward the midline. So this lighter area appears to come forward in the composition because it is burned less. So we want to set our tool down because right now heat is building up because I'm not actually actively wood burning. So wherever I set down my tool is going to be the hottest and therefore burn the darkest. So I'm going to start there and pull up. And we're just going around, and you can reorient however it makes sense for your hand. You don't want to do like a straight line out. I mean, you could, it wouldn't look bad, but I think to get a little bit more of a realistic look, because these shells are so curved, I'm having a little bit of a curve with the way that I'm pulling my tool. Okay. So we're just following that line, curving. And you don't need perfect uniformity as far as, your curved lines. They don't need to be perfectly parallel with each other, because snail shells, like many natural elements, they've got spots. You could just like it doesn't matter. It's still going to look like a snail shell when all is said and done. And so I'm also going to be doing the same thing, working from the outer edge and pulling towards that midline. So because I'm in this particular orientation, I was pushing my tool outward and lifting, and now I'm setting it and pulling it towards myself, but I'm keeping that same curvature in the same direction that it was going. Like
you're not using the edge of the shader, you're using like the scooped part, the flat part of the shader, correct? It's a little bit hard to see. Your hands kind of, there we go. That might be better. There we go. Yeah.
So the edge of the tool is coming into contact with the edge of the snail shell, but then I'm just quickly brushing it down. So I'm using sort of not the edge, but like, near to the edge. I'm not using like the middle of the tool because I wouldn't be as accurate. Like, if I'm setting it here, where exactly is my mark going to be? You want that control. So you want to be able to see where your tool is contacting the wood. Can you see that? It looks blurry actually.
It's a little blurry, but we can, like, it's having a trouble focusing. I think it's still trying to focus beyond the wood, like on your table. But yes, it's easier to see this now because we can actually see the movements that your hand is making. Excuse me, guys. It's been a longer week, it's been a great quick week, but the words sometimes are hard to find. When do you add color? Someone's asking about color, and which type of paint do you prefer for wood?
Yeah, color always goes on when you're completely done with the burning. So all the burning needs to be totally finished before you add any color, because burning on top of color is just a no-no. And that's because not all coloring agents are made of like wonderful things that you want to be inhaling. Um, and also, depending on what you use for color, like it could also like not look good at all being burned over. Some things are just not meant to be burned over.
Yes. And thank you for again touching on safety here. Like, I am so glad to hear that you put that like first before you're like going and check out these different types of colors, because it's so important, you guys. It's so, so important. And you always burn first and add color later. And once you've had color, no more burning, like no burning over color. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Like
So
if you used colored pencils and then you tried to burn over it, you'd get this like gray, chalky gray grossness. Like the color like almost burns away. It's awful. So but if you don't burn on top of it, using colored pencils is wonderful on wood. Because you know you have full control over where you're depositing the color. It adheres to the wood really well. You can blend. Watercolor pencils too are really nice because you can color with them, and then you can blend them with wood after you color. So then you get like a really vibrant painted effect, but you didn't have to like hurry up and paint it really fast before it was soaked up by the wood's pores, which is something that can be hard if you're using liquids on wood because it's so absorbent.
So what are your preferred types of color, would you say?
Probably my most favorite thing is using liquid inks like India inks, alcohol inks, acrylic inks, just because they have such high concentration of pigment. And I just like a really bold color. But if you're going for a more light wash of color, I do watercolors or watercolor pencils, and then you can really control how much pigment you're putting down. I also use liquid or gel wood stain if you're going for like a sepia or like a tonal thing where you want to keep it looking natural, but you just want to like emphasize the wooden look and maybe have like some shades of brown in there. Like you can add stain and it looks really nice. So those are things that I recommend. And in my wood burning master course, whoever signed up for that, you're going to get the tutorials on how to add all of those onto your wood. But there's really no limit. I haven't found anything actually yet that doesn't work on wood, like at all. You know, if you wanted to use something like markers or whatever, you can, it bleeds.
Like it's so much fun. It's like colored pencils, crayons, markers, gouache, acrylic, colored, like it's literally, the list can go on and on and
Yeah,
on.
you can use gel pens,
So much
like
fun.
you can
Yes.
use like yeah,
So
anything, like yeah, anything.
well, and you touch on a lot of this too in your creative wood burning book, which we will also link
Yes.
right now. I was just flipping through it, and you touch on the stains and watercolor pencils and watercolor, and like there's so many different projects in here and a lot of different methods of adding those colored elements to the different projects that are in the book. So be sure to check out this book. It's such a good one, you guys. It's so beautiful. She did such a great job. So we will link to that too in the chat.
Thank you. Yeah, make a beeline over to that link.
I see what you did there, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it all.
Yeah, you didn't sign up for the nerdy humor, but here you are. You're stuck here now and you've got it. How did everybody's snail shells turn out? Is everybody liking the way that that's looking?
I will let you know when they respond. I am there's lots of different questions happening about the India inks and the acrylics, and people are talking back and forth, and soy sauce is being brought up again, which was like a natural way to add color to something, which happened earlier this week. It's like I feel like it's almost like an inside joke at this point, but like we will be trying soy sauce because I have to try this out myself, of course. But yes, we'll wait for those questions to come in and I'll let you know.
We can add it to the long list of things that soy sauce improves, right? So I'm adding like a little kind of interior swoop on this spiral, and it's slightly in a little bit from like the edge of where the shell is, because look, if I shade outside of that and give it like a dark background right here, now it looks like the edge of the shell is lighter, and it's sort of not that it's like glowing, but like gives sort of like a backlit look to it, or just emphasizes that roundedness a little bit more. So you can do that and just kind of shade your way, but just keeping that lighter swirl in the center.
So someone said that their snail is much better than their butterfly, that they weren't able to keep up with the butterfly, so they didn't finish it, but the snail is adorable.
Sweet. Yeah, my butterfly is actually not completely completed either. I'll probably go in there and tweak some things or whatever. But that's how it goes. Sometimes we skip around. That's okay. I just felt like shading this dark, so I'm doing that. Another fun thing with adding color is that if you plan to add color, the background is a really nice place to add color. Like I could add like a dark red or a dark green or something, and it would give a similar effect as burning the background dark, because it would, it would push things to the background, but it would have a color, so it'd be like a little bit more interesting visually, and then help bring out any other colors that you have within your composition pop. So if you're planning on using color, incorporating color into the background of your artwork, whether there's like a sky or geometric shapes, or if you've got a portrait and you just need something in the background that is sort of interesting or whatever, like try a light wash of color or something and see what it does. So I am transitioning from that dark to just the natural wood by pulling my shading tool from the dark area to the light area.
Do you like to use the rounded shader for doing your like darkened backgrounds and like the black areas? Is that your preferred nib?
I go back and forth. with my love affair between the rounded shading tool and the angled like spear shader style. I used to like burn for years with like 90% like a medium spear shader, like angled shading tip. And then I would do like all my line work with the edge of it, like everything I did with it. And I broke one and then got used to using other things and branched out a little bit. And I just nowadays I'm pretty happy with any of the tools. So I just kind of pick a few and use them.
Bop around a little. I like that.
Yeah.
Was there any heat adjustment that you made between the snails and the blackout that you're doing?
No, there wasn't, although you totally could. I'm just being more careful. You could turn up your heat if you want to. I was already using like a fairly high heat. I'm at a 6 right now on this, but like I say, like this razor tip SE that's brand new on a level 6 is like the same as my super old, like 10-year-old SSD 10 that I have on level 10. So yeah, every individual unit. And then a lot of you are probably not burning on a razor tip, so you know your temperature level is something that you have to adjust to your own liking. So you just don't want it to burn so fast that you can't handle that much heat, you know? I'm just kind of carving in these like little inner edges of this leaf just to make the leaf outline show up a little bit, but I'm not like giving it a crisp outline. This is the thing with wood burning, like it's so easy to just like outline everything, and then you've got like a kind of tattoo-y style, and not everybody is into that, especially if you're more interested in realism. You know, like harsh outlines are like the enemy of realism, which, you know, is true or not true depending on what you're burning. Actually, it's more nuanced than that. But for this nature mandala, I'd like to just have a variety of effects. I don't want everything to be like outlined, and I don't want everything to be like subtle either. You guys want to move on to a mushroom?
Yes, do it.
We'll do this mushroom right here. I'm just gonna keep with the shading tool just for a minute, but we will be switching over to the writing tip momentarily. Right now, I am carving in this edge, and make sure it's like bumpy and irregular. So like it doesn't need to be like a perfect straight line or anything, because that will actually look less realistic if it is. Just kind of.
Do you know if we're going to be able to get to adding color tonight?
No, we won't.
Not tonight. Okay.
No.
But do you talk about that in your woodburning course?
Do I talk about adding color in general?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a whole section, a whole grouping of different tutorials about adding color. For this artwork, I'll probably just add some light washes of color. I could film that. I could film that and make it available to you guys if you want that. If you want to see how I finish off all the little details or whatnot.
I don't
on
think
this.
there's a single person that will say no to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Not a single one. After you finish this shroom, I think we'll take one more break, our last break, so that people can have a chance to purchase the recordings, because I want to make sure people have that chance before the end of this thing, because as soon as it's done, the price is going up. So you want to get it before the end of the class. You know, save yourself a little bit of money. Oh, here's a good question. Have you ever wood burned on a mushroom, like on an actual mushroom?
No, I have not.
It's so cool. I've seen other people do it and it is so neat. It's so, so cool.
I've heard of
I
this
assume it
mushroom.
would smell nice. It would smell nice. It'd smell like dinner.
I would be interested to know what species of mushroom would be safe to burn on. I feel like that could be tricky, but.
All right, we've got a question here. What is, like, if you could only bring one nib with you, it's like what is the nib that is like your nib that you reach for every time? Because I know that you really do change nibs fairly often, but like if you could only use one, which one would it be?
That is just
a cruel question. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I could never just pick one. Like I said, there was a point in time when like this shape, where am I? This shape was my go-to for years. Like this, if you would have asked me this like 3 years ago, I would have been like, it's this one, always and forever. But I'm so attached to so many different shapes of tips, and I categorize tips by like into like 5 or 6 different categories, so there's really like a handful of them. So like I couldn't really do without a writing tip, and I couldn't do without a knife tip, and I couldn't do without a shader. So really, like, you know, the quintessential, here's our trio
the
from
triplet.
tonight.
You have a triplet. You've got your little trio that you stick with. All right, I'll allow it.
Everybody needs to have a variety of tips. That should just be a pyrography law. There's no laws, okay? Rules are made to be broken.
I was gonna say, you say that, but we literally have people who like Court, for example, really only uses the universal nib on the Versatool. And Manisa, who loves her shader on the Versatool, and Basha, who was on here, who only uses her sexy tip, as she calls it. You know, so, like, I feel like one thing that I've learned this week is that there are no rules. You're right. Like there are no real rules when it comes to all of this. I really think it comes down to just like playing and spending time with your tools and materials. Yes, these classes and learning from people who have been doing this for a while, who have been, you know, firsthand experiencing the trial and error is amazing and will totally give you a leg up. But you got to get the burner in your hand. You know, there's only so much learning from watching someone else that you can do. You learn from doing too. So yeah, I love it. All right. So you're adding a whole nother level of texture right here. Can you tell us what it is that you're doing?
Yep. I am just adding some straight lines for these little mushroom gills down here. And you can see that they angle out and kind of angle a little more extreme toward the edges there. So yeah, I've switched over to this knife tip in order to do this. I just wanted to add on that same topic of like people like learning by doing and having your favorite tips and whatever. Like that's something that really happens over time as you develop a relationship with like your specific tools. Like no matter what wood burner you have, or what set or what variety of tip shapes you have, um, practicing with them and really understanding them and how your hand moves, and your particular drawing ability and like your physical mannerisms even, it all matters, and that's going to affect which tip feels like an extension of your hand, and what naturally does what you want it to do when you move the way that you move. So it can be a very personalized process, and that's why like each of those like amazing masterful wood burning artists has their like go-to tip that's their like holy grail, and that's because they've gone through that like personal journey to discover that over time, and they probably tried a lot of other things too along the way, and they were just like, yeah, this is actually what I like, and that process is very rewarding, guys.
It's so good to hear. People are loving this conversation. And I just saw that someone posted about how what you were talking about, how it doesn't need to be perfect. Like I think that's something that, I mean, it's something that we talked about in Burn Club Plus Zoom chat the other night, was all about how perfectionism, how it just destroys artists. Like it's such a killer of art. And being able to kind of accept and love the imperfections of our art is actually what makes it perfect. So anyways, it was just, you'll see the DM as it comes through when you're done with the class of the person and the lovely things that they had to say about what you had to say about that. So it's
Awesome.
just, the conversations that are happening are so nice. People are talking about mushrooms and using mushrooms and how you go about it. Someone said the polyform mushrooms dry hard. They grow out from the sides of trees. You bake them for a while on super low in the oven so that you can get rid of bugs before you use them. But so cool. So cool.
All right. I've switched over to the writing tip. And right now I'm gonna, I did these a little bit bolder than I should have maybe, but that's fine. I can correct that when I'm shading in a minute. But I'm just underlining all of these like little bumpy spots. And again, these do not need to be perfect. Just, whatever little bumpy shapes you make there, they can have lumps and bumps and be uneven themselves because this is a mushroom. And, mushrooms in the wild have all sorts of weird stuff going on.
Boy, do they. They are funky little bits of perfection. That's for
Yeah.
we have a good question here. Do you find that customers mind flaws in the wood, like the wood itself? Like how this piece, for example, has that little brown spot. Do you think that people notice that or mind it?
Well, that I could answer that a couple different ways. No is the answer I'm going to say, but with some caveats, because it depends on how I, as the artist, am incorporating that so-called blemish into the art. Because, I can imagine how someone could let that blemish ruin their art piece by like not taking it into account and not like incorporating it in some sort of smart way or whatever. And then sealing over it and not realizing that it's going to darken that much. Like if someone tried to like wood burn a portrait on this or something and like put the face like right there, and then it was just like all of a sudden they sealed it, and then the whole cheek like turned dark brown, and they were like, I didn't mean for that to happen, and now it doesn't look like that person anymore or something. then yeah, the customer who paid you to woodburn that portrait is not going to be happy about that blemish. But if you know what the blemish is looking like and you're like, okay, I'm going to work with that, and you make your design compatible with the blemish, no, of course it's not a problem. It's only a problem if, you know, if you let it be one, I guess. Yeah.
And then what if there's a, like, you know, a mistake that we make as artists, something that like maybe sticks out to us because we know that it doesn't look the way that we intended for it to look? What would you say about that?
That is an artist's soul journey to
Great way to describe it.
Accept the things you cannot change. And yeah, we are our harshest critics and all of those other cliches and stuff. So yeah, there's always going to be things in your artwork that don't turn out the way that you want them. I have that happen to me all the time, and I am a professional wood burner who literally does this for a living, and it is okay for that to happen. In fact, it is expected that there will be things that turn out differently than you wanted them to, or hoped they would, or anticipated. So just give yourself some grace. Move on to the next thing. The reason you notice it is because you care about how your art looks and you want to do a good job. So that means you're doing something right, and you know your artwork more intimately than anybody else because you are the creator of it. So learn something from it, apply that lesson to future things, and that's how you improve.
I love that response. People are like, how are we going to all get in contact? They're all starting to feel that we're in our final hour of the sessions. And they're like, no,
yeah.
And they're like, we've got to figure out a guest book of some sort so that we can all get in touch with each other. But I think what we'll do is at the end of the today, I will ask everybody to, you know, put their Instagram handles down so that people can follow the people that they've been connecting with all week, because that's a great way to do it. But then we also, guys, not this coming week, but the following week is Winter Burnt Week with Walnut Hollow, where everybody posts their finished pieces to social media. You can all go to the same hashtag, find each other, connect that way. It's really like, we did it purposefully a week after this so that you can take all of the knowledge that you just gained this week and put it towards, you know, making new pieces and kind of challenging yourself. So just stay tuned for that. Those details are all coming. Burn Club Plus already has all of them. Burn Club, which all of you are in, will get that on Monday. Tomorrow. You guys are going to get all the prompts tomorrow. And then they go public on Thursday of this week. So just stay for that. It will be happening soon enough.
So I've switched over. I switched back to my shading tip here. And in order to create this overlapping look of these, let's pretend like this is the shingles of a house. So each little knobby bit there is like a shingle. And so we are starting in the darker shadowy area where we've outlined, and we are extending that into the next shingle so that the shape ends up looking like it's, you know, three-dimensional. And then the outline isn't super visible anymore because it's being incorporated into the shading. See that? So that's why those outlines, like, they don't need to be perfect because they're going to look good.
Yes.
No matter.
Yes. Yeah. And there's going to be so many other amazing things for you to look at on this piece too. Like, even if you still think a mistake is there, I promise you, no outside person is going to see it. It's just you that sees it. And like, nature is imperfect and we love it. We love it unconditionally. We love it just the way it is. We love the mushrooms with all of their little weird imperfections. Why can't we love our art in the same way? You know, like just want everybody to embrace that a little more, just a little more.
That's right. Pyrography, the art of the underdogs.
I love it. Oh, people are saying this piece is just so pretty. It is. It's so pretty. It's so, so pretty. But all of your art is. I mean, I absolutely love your style and love your artwork. It's so recognizable. It's so easy to see that it's you, like when it pops up in my feed. And this is like such a quintessential BeeSymmetry piece in my mind. And I'm so glad that you brought it for today. It's perfect.
Thank you. That's a huge compliment. I really appreciate it. And I'm really happy to share this design with everyone so that they can all, just like experiment. And also because I think that sometimes you see, complicated designs like this and it feels so intimidating, like, oh my God, I could never burn that, or, that looks really hard. And there's so many different things going on and stuff. But when you really break it down, and you just be patient with it and do one little element at a time, like all of a sudden you can step back and look at the whole and you're like, whoa, I burned that. So I hope that that experience is happening for some of you right now, where you're coming away from this being pleasantly surprised and proud of yourself for like burning something that seemed maybe like at a different level than you think that you're at or something. Yeah.
I love that so much because, and someone else this week, I think it was Court that said that, because we had asked like, how do you know when you're done? And she's like, I just get a feeling. And then I look at it and I'm like, wow, look at what I made. This is so awesome. And like, it's really refreshing to hear artists who say that, who feel that, who look at their work and have that feeling. And I do think that it comes through practice, like not just with your skill and like with your ability to create what you envision, but practice of like loving what it is that you make with all of its imperfections and embracing them all. So I'm really happy to hear that you have that feeling and that you're encouraging others to also have that feeling when they make this piece. So yay.
Oh yeah. Rachel, am I going to be able to see the chat, or is that just a function of like
that's just what's
live
happening right now? Yeah, I wish we could see the chat and share it with everybody because, oh my goodness, like it's so lovely and wonderful, and everybody is just so supportive and amazing. And that's why I really try to relay some of these wonderful comments to you, because I want you guys to be able to hear it while it's happening. But you'll also get the vibe and the feel of these comments and the chat itself when you log into Instagram and see all of the amazing posts of people making stuff and what they're getting out of this class and all of that. So I'm hoping you'll get that feeling at the end of it all. But y'all are amazing. You really, really are.
I think we should maybe just pick one more element to work on. So
we'll ask the audience.
Yeah.
Audience, what do you want her to work on next? And we are going to take a 5-minute break and you have time to respond, but then you also have time to purchase the recording. So here, Bea, I'm going to just mute you and get the timer started. And then you guys, this is your last 5-minute break. This is your last chance to make that purchase of the recordings while you're not missing anything. So grab them now. They're only $80 right now. That price will be going up literally as soon as the sessions are over. So make sure you grab them. It really is the way that you can support Woodburn Corner, our ability to continue doing sessions like this and live events like this, like the summit. Your support really means so much to me, but it also helps these artists who have given their time to come and teach us all that they know about the art, And so we all are incredibly grateful for those of you who are purchasing the recordings and are able to do so. But we're also incredibly grateful for all of you who have just decided to come and show up and be here today and be just as supportive as you are. So thank you so much, everybody. We will see you in like 4 minutes. Okay. We are back for some more, and there were, it looks like 3 very smart people who purchased the recordings during this break. So thank you so much, you guys. Seriously, your support, it helps so much and means so much to us. And it really helps these artists, and It really makes it so we can keep doing this, which we want to do, because I know how valuable this is for everybody. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, back to you, my dear. And it looks like they would like to see leaves first, and then if you have time, one of the flowers, if you have time.
Okay, which leaves? The maple leaves or the center leaves? We can probably do both.
I assume a maple leaf, but
Okay.
Whatever you can fit in.
Okay, sounds good. I also just during the break, I grabbed this ball tip so that I can do a little ornamental stippling with these dots, and that's just something that I do all the time. It adds a little bit of extra dimension and texture and kind of visual interest in your artwork, and so that is my main use of a ball tip right there. I will go ahead and put my shading tip back on for the leaf. We'll do this maple leaf here. And hopefully you guys outlined that earlier. And if you didn't, it is okay, because you'll have an opportunity to do that as we go. So when I'm shading and when I'm creating different gradients, there's like two ways to approach it. There's probably more than two ways, but the two main ways that I approach things is either I shade from the center point outward so that the outer edge is lighter and the interior is darker, or I shade from the outer edge inward so the outer edge is darker and the interior is lighter. And typically when I am going from dark to light, then I do some sort of dark background behind the leaf. So I'll probably do this one in that way, and I'll probably do this one the other way where I am shading from the outside in. So the technique on this is really just to get a nice dark crispy edge, and then gently glide your shading tool in towards the center. And this is going to get that initial shade, and then you can always go in and add I'll just demonstrate, but you can add other little shading after you have this. So I always like to move my hand in sort of a, like if these leaf veins have this curvature, then I will shade it in that curvature. Or yeah, I bring things in whatever way seems to make sense with the shape of the leaf. So like right here, there's this curve. So I might like curve my shading a little bit to go along with that, or sort of mimic that same shape. And I just feel like that gives a really nice kind of cohesive look to everything. It doesn't look like you just took your wood burner and just like colored across it, like coloring a crayon, you know. You were thoughtful about where you put that shading, and therefore it makes the leaf look more realistic and beautiful. Okay. And for areas like this where we've got two shaded things running up against each other, I like to leave like the smallest little unburned space. See that little light outline there between the leaf and the, yeah, you want to leave just like a tiny little, you're not really going to notice it, but if you didn't do that, then this would all merge together in a blob. And it's like this really subtle thing, but it does make a difference, I think.
Hippie North just popped on and she said that this is gorgeous, Bee. The shading is mesmerizing. It absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, really.
Your work is amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that class on Thursday, but whoo.
No, I will
my
totally be
Yeah.
enjoying the recordings.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna need to catch up on them at a later date because I just had a busy week. But yeah, I for sure
Such
want
a
to watch.
phenomenal evening. I mean, they've all been phenomenal in their own ways, which is exactly like what the whole purpose of this was, because each one of these artists brought something different to the table and we all learned so much. So it's been just such a fabulous week. Like if you missed any of the classes, I'm telling you, get the recordings. You will thank me later. You'll be like, thank you so much for pushing the recordings because I just watched this class or that class or this class and holy cow. So like they all have been phenomenal. Every single one. We get done, we get off. I message with Basha and I'm like, well, that was great. Like it really has been, like Katie just said in the chat, everyone's class was epic in all caps. Agreed. Totally agreed.
It's awesome. Yeah, the lineup was very impressive. I was like, dang, it's like, people who are dedicated, to this art form and like, dedicated to this art form, like is the best way to put it, and it's inspiring. So once you've got your outer shading there, if you want to go in, I'm going to turn my temperature down a little bit so that I don't feel like I have to burn too fast before making big, huge splotches. But if you want to go in and just add any other like little extra definition, you can. And it's nice to
is it possible for you to hold that up so that we can see what you're doing a little bit closer when you're doing that part? Thank you. That's better.
Is that in a good spot?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to take the edge of my tool and almost like outline. I'm going to do a similar thing where I'm leaving like an unburned portion on the side of this leaf vein. And that's just going to give it sort of more of a three-dimensional look to it. And then just like super light shading out from there. Do you see how that just made that pop? Did that come through?
Sorry,
we'll
I was in the chat, but do it one more time right there. Yes, it's coming through. Oh my gosh, it's just making that leaf pop. Like it's just getting so dimensional. I love it. People are saying thank you so much for sharing your techniques. They're loving the shading.
You are so welcome. Thank you for spending, multiple hours like being engaged and excited about this and being here for this class.
It's so awesome. There's been people who have been in every single class throughout the whole thing. And
That's awesome.
It's so cool that we've been able to spend this time together as a community, all learning together, all growing together, learning from each other, leaning on each other, sharing the same experiences and like talking about like our struggles and the questions that have been asked. Like it's just been such a fabulous week of connection. Like that, I really feel like it's been connection, like just as much as learning, it's been connection. It's been so nice.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, I'm gonna do some other different shading on this one, and then we will wrap up with the giveaway.
Yay.
So just quickly, I'm doing the inverse of this. So how this one has kind of dark veins and dark edges, I'm going to do light veins and light edges on this leaf here. And the trick is just to burn like your outline of where where you want to shade, and then filling that in with your shading, and leaving that central vein alone, and just branching your like other little veins off of there. And then you can make your background even darker again. Oh, you can probably hear my baby in the background. It's her bedtime.
Oh, little sweetheart. Mama will be able to tuck her in very soon.
Yeah, I think
there. You did have done such a phenomenal job tonight. I'm so grateful that you came and did this, not only at the summit, but that you're doing it again and longer for the sessions here tonight. I'm so grateful for you, Bee.
Thank you. I'm grateful that you have taken on the role of organizing such things like this to bring everybody together, and that you invited me to do this. It's been really a fun way of connecting with other people who are learning. And like I said, it's awesome to get to see like at the last one that we did with the feather burning that we did, like so many people contacted me after that and were like, look at the feather that I burned. And I was like, great job, that's awesome.
And probably like months later too, right? Like I'm still getting comments about the summit and stuff where I'm like, wow, the effects of that summit have lasted for almost a year now. Like it blows me away. It blows me away.
Yeah, it's awesome. So thank you very much. It's been super fun, and thank you to everyone who's here.
I mean, none of this would be possible if it weren't for Basha being on my team, you guys. Like she is the MVP. She's the reason why your recordings are going to be available tomorrow. Tomorrow, when you purchase the recordings, like you will have access to them tomorrow, all of them, which is just mind-blowing. She's the reason why you have all the correct links in the chat right now. She goes and collects all of those and gets them all in one place. She's the reason why everything is so organized and pretty. It's all Basha, guys. Like, make sure to show her lots of love too.
Thank you, Basha. So I hope everyone's just getting the gist of what we're doing here.
They are. They're all loving the leaf shading and just so happy with how this piece is turning out. And they're like, I can't wait to see the finished piece. I'm like, make sure to follow her, because I imagine you'll be showcasing the finished piece on your Instagram soon enough. So
yes, I will.
Everybody be ready for that. Well, are we ready to do a giveaway, y'all?
Yep, let's do it.
I think we are. So you can keep burning if you want while we get all of the feedback in, but I would love to hear, or flip through your book too so they can see the inside. Yes, I would love to hear what you guys learned tonight. What did you learn from Miss B tonight? And the winner is going to be for someone in the United States. You're going to get a signed copy of this gorgeous book, Creative Woodburning. So just put it in the comment what you learned tonight, and then I'm going to read them to her so that she can see all of the amazing things that people are taking away from this chat. Oh, they're all being they're just like writing the nicest comments about how great this week has been and how they're just loving everything. So you guys are so awesome. Thank you. All right, we already have our first comment. Pinky is a kickstand. The whole experience has just been so invaluable. I learned that I need a spoon shader. As a newbie, this week has been awesome. How to use the razor tip nib. Not every piece needs to be a masterpiece. Shading techniques, the B line, of course. I learned how to inverse shade. This person followed along and they said that I've got a lot of practice to do. Good. But they learned a lot about shading, so many tips on shading and making it look more 3D. Someone said, what a stunning book you have.
Thank you.
Shading techniques, leaf shading techniques, the bee line, using vegetable tanned leather, so many ways to burn and shade to give dimension. Bee lines, more bee lines, shading techniques. Don't worry about mistakes, just incorporate it into the design. If it feels crunchy, resistant, it needs to be cleaned. Not everyone may have a different style. No style is incorrect. That not everything has to be perfect if we make mistakes. To learn from them, take them as an experience for our next pieces, how to utilize the different tips. Never even used a shader, but I'm excited to try. How you can live your passion. So many good ones, you guys. So many good ones. Hey, Basha, do we have a winner?
We do have a winner. I just wanted to say quickly, thank you so much for all the love. It means so much to me. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Bee. Thank
Basha,
you,
let's turn our cameras on. I think, you know, that we're in the last throws here. Let's come on and say our goodbyes. There we go. Look at us, the people behind the screen. Who's our winner for tonight, Basha?
Congratulations, Crocus 1906.
Crocus, congrats. Bee, how would you like them to contact you?
Great question. How about emailing BeeSymmetry@gmail.com and letting me know that you are the winner, and then I will take it from there.
Perfect. I put that in the chat too. BeeSymmetry@gmail.com. Guys, make sure to visit Bee's website, BeeSymmetry.com, where you will find all of the things there. Everything that she talks about, her books, her courses, everything is there. So make sure to visit that. That's pinned at the top of the chat as well. But we will also be dumping some more of her websites and things in the chat in the last minutes here. And then also, if you guys share about the sessions at all, maybe what you got from the whole week, which classes were your favorites, things that you want to try, stuff like that, post to just the Woodburn sessions and tag at Woodburn Corner. And this is open worldwide. We will be giving away one free recording for the sessions. And it doesn't matter if you've already purchased, you will just get a refund on what you purchased the recordings at. But this is your last couple of minutes to get that recording purchase in right now. Basha's probably working on changing the price as we speak.
I'm sharing links over here first, so you still have a chance.
So a couple more minutes, but as soon as the sessions are completely shut down and done, that's when the price is going to change. So grab them now, right now. Don't wait. And also grab Bee's Woodburning book. Follow her on at BeeSymmetry. You're everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, you're all over the place. So wherever you find BeeSymmetry, that's where you will find Bee.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bee, for doing this with us tonight. I'm so grateful for you and this community. We cannot thank you enough for all that you guys do, for the comments, for the messages, for the love that you share with each other, the helping of each other, the answering of the questions, the contributing to the chat, just the love that you've been showing to all of the artists who have come in and are teaching. Like, thank you. You guys are amazing and we're so appreciative. So, all right. Well, we will see what you guys post to social about the sessions as a whole. I'm very excited to see that. And we will be picking a winner. Does not matter what country you live in to get the session recordings. And we'll see you guys at the summit for sure in May. And then we also will hopefully see you not this coming week, but the following week for Burnt Week, Winter Burnt Week with Walnut Hollow. That is a challenge, a week-long challenge where you can really push your craft and use all of these techniques that you've learned throughout the week to create new art. So I hope that we will see you there. Guys, in the chat right now, while I say our goodbyes and I do the sharing of the screen, while the chat is still going, please put your Instagram handle so we can all follow each other, okay? Drop your Instagram handle in right now, and then that's it. We're saying good night and goodbye, and thank you so much for joining us, you guys. You have been so phenomenal. And we are so grateful that you are here with us. You guys are the reason why this has been so much fun. So thank you. Thank you. Bee, thank you. Thank you, Basha.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.